Hello, and welcome to Mr. Sadler's Grade 12 Essential Math class. This video is to show you how to use the ratehub.ca mortgage affordability tool that you will need in order to do your mortgage project over the next bit. So, on your computer or on your phone, please go to ratehub.ca, ratehub.ca. On this website, you will see a whole bunch of information and tools about mortgages and personal finance. On your phone, this will look a little different. I will show you how it looks on your phone in a few minutes. Now, once you get to this website, we are looking for mortgage information, so please click on Mortgages. That will bring you to a web page where it has information about mortgages that it finds from bank websites and from other information to give you up-to-date information about interest rates and other things. Now, if I scroll down a little bit, I can see the current best interest rates, which are very low right now. We're also going to scroll down a little bit further to see the mortgage calculators. Now, this section here is a section that we are going to use a lot for this project. The first thing we're going to do is go to the affordability calculator, click on that. Now, this tool will allow us to calculate how much mortgage we can afford based on our income and our gross debt service ratio. In order to use this, we need to scroll down a little bit. We are going to look at our annual income section here. Our annual income, we are going to input our gross annual income, that is before tax, as it says here, from the job card, and we're going to type that in here. So let's assume that we have a gross income of $43,000 a year. If we choose a spouse, we can also put the co-applicant income here, which will give us our spouse information. So let's say that we have a spouse and that spouse earns $37,000 or $37,500 a year. We can input that as well. If you do not have a spouse, that is okay. You do not have to input that. Now, the debt payments we don't have to worry about. In real life, you would input those. We don't have that for this project right now. We're also going to let this tool estimate our living costs for property tax and other things here. So once we have that input, click on how much can I afford, and that will bring us to the affordability calculator tool here. Now on this tool, we can see it has done a maximum affordability for us, but this is again wildly optimistic. Now our down payment here is way higher than we will actually have. For this, we are going to put in what we actually have on our job card and our spouse's job card. You will need to add those two together. So let's say that if our spouse and us have a down payment of $22,500 combined, please input that here. We will also need to go down a little bit and choose a 25-year amortization period. So click on Select and choose 25 years. Because we have a lower down payment and because we are buying a house in Manitoba, we are limited to 25 years. For our mortgage rate, we cannot choose 2.24%. That is the current best rate. However, we need to qualify at a higher rate because of the mortgage stress test in Canada. In order to set that up, click on Select Rate, and we will input a custom rate. So click in this custom rate box here and type in 4.89. That is the current rate that we need to qualify at. Once you've input that, click on Select in this window, right beside that, and it will input that and calculate what you can actually afford for a mortgage. Now again, this is a little bit optimistic, so we're going to scroll down a little bit. And we got to make sure that this profile is set to Manitoba. So we're going to choose Manitoba. We're going to type in Winnipeg and choose that. That will allow us to make sure that this land transfer tax is calculated correctly. It also changes a couple other things, and our home price here is based on what is available in Manitoba. On this screen here, you can see this is the maximum home price that you can afford with your GDSR and your income. You can also see your CMHC insurance and your mortgage, your total mortgage that you're going to require. Your mortgage rate is here, and our total mortgage payment, how much we would expect to pay each month, is shown here. Please note, when you're changing your mortgage rate, you're going to click on Select Rate here, not Get Rate. This will open a window where you can try and apply for a mortgage, which we're not actually trying to do for this project. If I scroll down a little bit more, there is more information. I can see for cash needed, information on closing costs. Please make sure to choose the build your own scenario, and you can see what it estimates you will need for cash on hand. This again is optimistic. And you can also see information about monthly expenses and how much it thinks you will need for property tax and utilities and other things. Again, I find this to be a little bit optimistic, especially for utilities. This will likely be quite a bit higher. Now, as we scroll back up, you can find the information here that you are going to need to record in your project. This information you will need to write down so that you have it saved when you go looking for a house. You are going to need to write down the maximum house price, which is here. You're going to also need to write down your down payment and the mortgage rate and amortization period you input, as well as your total mortgage payment it thinks you can afford. This mortgage payment is what it thinks you can afford based on your gross salary. We will need this later when we talk about our GDSR and how much we're actually paying for our house. Please write down this information in your project in the boxes where it is noted. Once you've done that, you can close out this tool because you have the information written down and you can continue on with your project. Now, if you are doing this on your phone, this will look slightly different, but the process is the same. So the phone will look something like this. It is the same idea, the same information, you're following the same steps, but because it's on the phone, it looks a little thinner. Now, you can click on the mortgages option here, or tap on it on your phone. This here will bring up the same page, but organized differently. From there, you can scroll down a bit. You can see the rates again, and you can see your mortgage calculators. These calculators we're going to use the same way we did for the other one. We're going to click on Affordability Calculator. This will bring up the page where we can enter our inputs here, such as our income and other stuff. So please make sure that you input your annual income before tax here. So for our example, that was $43,000. If you have a co-applicant income, you can input that as well here. So let's try this without a co-applicant and you can see what happens. We're going to leave the rest of these for it to estimate. So if we click on how much can I afford, you notice here it does not have a maximum affordability option because it does not have the width to display that. We're going to need to build our own. So let's say that I only have $17,000 saved up for a down payment. This again you will get from your job card. The amortization period here, you're going to select that. Again, choose 25 years, tap on that. And then for mortgage rate, you need to tap on Select Rate here. Careful, that's the Select Rate, not the black Get Rate button. So tap on Select Rate, and that will allow you to input a custom rate here of 4.89%. Tap on Select, and that will bring you here to your affordability. Now, this looks different, or this is a different number from the other one because we assume in this one we did not have a spouse for it. So you can see the same information. Here's the maximum house that you can afford. Here is your down payment and your amortization period and your total mortgage monthly payment. So this one is expecting you to pay $11.97 as the maximum that you could afford per month for your mortgage. Please note, you will again need to choose Manitoba and Winnipeg if it has not already selected that. It should automatically choose that for you, but this here will change your sound numbers a little bit because it's the rates are a little bit different in Manitoba. So here, based on our income, we can see that it says we can afford a maximum of $201,000. Please make sure that you are writing that down in your project, as well as the other information that you need in your project. There's a table with all that information you need to write down. Again, you can scroll down and find your monthly expenses, and you can find your cash needed for your closing costs right in this sheet here. This is useful if you're looking at how much you would expect to pay. You do not need to copy this down into your project because we will get there in a little bit. So the affordability calculator, whether you are using your phone or whether you are using the computer, both of these work the same way. You need to input the same information. Once you have calculated how much house you can afford, please make sure to write it down in your project and then continue on to the next step, which will be looking for a house. Check out the next video for more information on how to use the realtor.ca website. Have a great day.